Hi, welcome to Live on KEXP at Home. I'm your host, DJ Morgan from listener-powered, independent 90.3 FM KEXP in Seattle, where we stream worldwide 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also hear us online at KEXP.org and on the KEXP mobile apps. And we are so happy to continue to connect you with live music as we remain socially distant and working from home. And all of this is made possible with your support. So thank you so much for supporting KEXP. And I'm so happy to be joined today by Stuart Braithwaite of Mogwai. Hi, welcome.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. All good.
It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for making this time for us today.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Where are you coming to us from? Are you at your home?
Yeah, this is my really messy room full of all my guitars and skateboards and records.
Nice.
I should have tidied up. That's why I asked it this before we came on. I was like, "Is this for a video?" And then you're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't know why I asked because it's too late for me to tidy up anyway."
I love it though. That's your activity room. That's where you're being creative, right?
Very much so. Yes, and accumulating things.
Yeah, I know about that. Definitely collecting. So huge congratulations on your fantastic new album, As Love Continues. It's so good. It's one of our favorite albums at KEXP. Just came out last month on February 19th, and it already hit #1 on the UK charts, which is so awesome. Huge congrats on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Like, I mean, we've been putting out records for a long time, and it's not the kind of thing you expect to happen. So, yeah, it's been insane. Really, really fun, but really, really, really weird too.
I'm sure it's very trippy, but I think it's very well deserved. The record is absolutely glorious and totally deserves #1. But beyond the fact that it totally deserves #1, what do you think aligned to create that momentum for this particular album after releasing things for 25 years?
I think a few things. We did a live streaming show where we played the whole record the week before. So I think that was a bit of a moment, and people responded really well to that. I guess I know people are really missing live music. I certainly am. And that kind of created a bit of community and a bit of connection with a lot of people, and also just made sure people knew we had a record coming out. You know, it's kind of, I know you guys are really, really supportive, but we're not all over the radio in most places, you know, so it's kind of, it was a big thing to make sure people were aware we had music coming out. Yeah. Also, I think people are really valuing music now, because it's been such a tough year. Everyone's been stuck inside or not been able to see family, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think people have kind of taken to music, and our music's quite personal as well. So I think that's maybe a factor too.
Yeah. It's interesting how in a pre-COVID world, you know, live music, live performances, and album releases are so go, and it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. But the fact that you did do that virtual performance the week before the release and built that momentum around it, and actually like gave people the opportunity to listen to that full album before it even came out, I'm sure that was a huge contributing factor. Not to mention, like you mentioned, the music is just such a balm for the soul, and it's so needed right now. And your new record is so, for me anyway, and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling this way, it's such a soothing record that seems to meet the energy of the time. I'm curious, did you start writing and recording this album in a pre-COVID world, or was this like during lockdown?
Most of it was during lockdown. We had some rough ideas at the very start of last year, but it was only when everything locked down that we were really getting into the kind of nitty gritty of the record. So yeah, certainly for me, most of the music I wrote for the record was done when you weren't allowed to leave the house.
Wow. So since you were all separated and you had a few collaborators, including your longtime producer, Dave Fridman, helping out on the album too, how were you able to record this? Please tell us the story of how this record was recorded.
Well, the demos we didn't do together, but to be honest, we quite often don't do that because Barry lives in Germany. So we were sharing all the demos, sharing them with Dave as well. And the plan was to go to the States in May to record at Dave's studio up near Buffalo. And obviously that couldn't happen. So we changed our plan. We ended up doing it in England a little bit later, and Dave couldn't come. He's going on planes anyway, so he probably wouldn't have came even if he was allowed.
He doesn't fly?
He doesn't like to. Yeah, he doesn't like to. He likes to stay where he is. So he still wanted to be involved and produce a record. So yeah, we just had him on a call like we were talking right now, and he was hearing everything we were doing, talking us through the songs, just doing everything he would have normally done. So that was different. But I mean, other than that, which even though it sounds weird, was totally fine because we all know each other so well. It wasn't disrupted that much. We might in last summer things had kind of relaxed quite a bit. You could travel again, certainly within the UK. Like where we recorded was 5 or 6 hours away, so we could get away, and the studio was residential, so we all went and stayed there and just kind of lived in this little house for a couple of weeks, and yeah, it was good. I mean, we were all wearing masks the whole time, which I suppose is pretty unusual as well, but yeah, we managed to make it work.
Yeah, that sounds like a really soothing, calming activity to do during this time as well. Did you find your headspace a little bit different during the writing and recording of this album than usual, since you had to, stay very put? You couldn't be on tour or anything like that. Was that experience different at all?
Yeah. I mean, I think with anything you do, you've got to find time to do it. But with this, that was all you could do. That was all we could do, other than watch whatever Tiger King on Netflix or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
That was early pandemic watching.
Yeah, that was a big hit. And Trump didn't even pardon him, did he? That was tragic.
He was fully ready. Dude had a limo outside, fully expecting to be pardoned on the last day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's maybe the only good thing Trump did.
Was not pardon him.
Keep that terrible dude in jail.
I love it. I totally agree.
Right, anyway, that was a detour. But so when I mean, I was just sitting in this little room, just playing guitars and keyboards every day and just trying to work on the songs. So to be honest, that worked out okay. And it was good to have a focus. It was good to have something we were aiming towards. And it's also maybe one of the reasons this whole last week's been so emotional, because this is the culmination of this pretty epic journey with these songs, and actually people hearing it and people responding so well and buying it. I mean, it's been amazing. It's been really, really, really emotional.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, it's such a great record. I'm so happy it is out in the world and people are able to listen to it now. And speaking of which, you recorded some amazing live performance videos for us that we are going to share today. Let's kick it off with this first song, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. This first song is Sealing Granny from the new Mogwai album, As the Love Continues. It is Mogwai live on KEXP at Home. It's Mogwai live on KEXP at home. That was the song Sealing Granny from the new record As the Love Continues that just came out on February 19th. I'm DJ Morgan speaking to Stuart Braithwaite of Mogwai. Where were those performance videos recorded?
We actually recorded them in the same space that we did our live concert film. We just did it a different day. So yeah, same place, which is the Tramway. It's a really nice kind of art space in Glasgow. They have shows, lots of theatre, lots of like visual art. And like a nice little cafe and stuff. So yeah, that place is just sitting empty like everywhere. So yeah, they were really nice and let us go in and set up and play there.
That's so cool. I was wondering if that was the same space from your live performance video. I was like, I'm sure that's the same place. So moody and dark. It's so interesting when it's empty in there too, because Mogwai shows are usually packed and there's all of that energy around it. But these are absolutely beautiful videos. Thank you so much. I'm so curious, what is the story behind the name Sealing Granny?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you're aware of the movie The Exorcist 3. Have you seen that film?
Yeah.
Do you remember the bit when he's like in the kind of mental hospital and the old lady runs across the ceiling?
Yes.
Well, basically we were watching that movie in the studio. Well, not in the studio, at night once we were finished. Yeah. And every time someone got up to get a beer or whatever or go to the bathroom, they'd come back and be like, "Have I missed the Sealing Granny?" Because we were all like kind of, that's the scariest bit of the movie. It's a total spoiler if someone's like planning tonight to watch The Exorcist 3. In fact, it's not. You need to know what's coming because it is quite disturbing. So yeah, so we were just like, that'll do. We'll call a song that. We really don't put a lot of thought into our song titles.
And yet they seem like you put a lot of thought into the song titles.
Yeah, we really don't. Someone's actually started a Twitter account with like fake Mogwai song titles, and it's just like absolute random rubbish.
Do you have any favorites that you saw from that that you might poach?
There was one was like, it was a play on words on Celtic Frost, you know, the metal band. It was like Celtic Frosties, like the breakfast cereal. I was like, that's okay. Yeah. I mean, we've probably had worse. Yeah, I saw that today.
Celtic Frosties. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Oh, I love it. I'm curious. One of my favorite songs on the new record, As Love Continues, is Midnight Flint. And I know that you worked with Atticus Ross for the string arrangements on that. Yeah. If somebody's watching this right now, I highly recommend listening to that song. The strings are just amazing. I'm so curious how you all did that virtually. Like, where was he? Who were the players? All of that.
Yeah, this is actually the most insane internet COVID situation because Atticus was in LA where he lives, and we did this once we'd finished doing the main recording. So Tony, the engineer, was in Glasgow in our studio, and the orchestra were in Budapest.
Whoa!
And which is apparently where most people record strings. And yeah, so Atticus was directing them. Tony's recording it. Tony's trying to. Tony told me actually that the other day it was really funny. Like, you pay by the hour, and like they were halfway through a take, and the hour ran out, and they just put their stuff down. Just stop. They're like, "Well, I'm done." I don't know. Yeah, totally. I'm done. I don't know if they'd already been we'd already gotten the take, but I mean the playing's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's an amazing part. It's really, really, really great. Yeah, I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, and we'd recorded a soundtrack with Trent and Atticus for the Before the Flood documentary. So we'd worked together before, not quite as I don't know what the word, as closely as this. But yeah, it was great. Definitely love to do something with them again in the future. It would be amazing. Yeah.
Who else have you always wanted to collaborate with? Like, who would you collaborate with if you could pick anyone?
Yeah, we always want to do so. We've always talked. I mean, we've never really officially asked. So I say this as if we ask and he said no. But I think we would love to do a song with Iggy. I think he's probably my favorite singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
His EP with Underworld was pretty amazing, so he'd probably do it.
I'd like to think he's played us on his radio show. He's got a radio show over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to think it could happen, but it would have to be the right song. Sometimes you can hear collaborations and you can tell that it's just an idea and then it doesn't quite work. It would have to be the right. I mean, whatever he does would be great. I'm just talking about what we do to complement what he does. But that's something I'd love to happen.
Well, Iggy Pop, if you're watching, feel free to reach out to Mogwai. They want to collaborate.
Totally.
That's
Come on,
awesome.
Iggy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to a couple of more songs. I'm going to play a couple in a row here, and then we'll come back and speak more. The next couple songs are Dry Fantasy from As the Love Continues, and then we'll go into Ritchie Sacramento. It is Mogwai live on KEXP at Home. That was Ritchie Sacramento from Mogwai, live on KEXP at home from the new album As the Love Continues. And before that, you heard the song Dry Fantasy as well. I'm DJ Morgan, speaking to Stuart Braithwaite of Mogwai. I'm curious, what are the lyrics of Ritchie Sacramento about?
It started, I hadn't written any lyrics. I'm always pretty last minute with them. And I read this post on Facebook from Bob Nastanovich from Pavement, and he wrote this post. I think it was Dave Berman's birthday, and he'd obviously been really great friends with Dave, and it was this story about Dave throwing a shovel at a sports car, and as he threw it, he said, "Rise, Crystal Spear," and that kind of was the start of the song. I asked Bob if this was okay. He said it was okay, so it's fine. And the song's kind of about that. It's about Dave, and it's about other people that aren't around anymore, and it's kind of a sad song, but in a kind of weird, hopeful kind of way.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And the music video you released for it as well, I'd love to hear about that. What was the concept behind that music video, and who made that one?
This guy, Sam Wheel, he's from Liverpool. He's done a lot of cool stuff with some other great bands like Forest Swords and Ladytron, and I don't really understand the concept, to be honest, but it just looks awesome. We tend to not get too involved in all that stuff. We let other people who know better than us just get on with it.
Yeah. It's like, to me, you've seen Logan's Run, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like Renewal, getting...
Yeah. It's got a Rapture vibe. It definitely does have that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. What is the title Ritchie Sacramento? What is that from?
That a lot of our song titles are mishearings or things like our song Like Herod. That was someone saying lightheaded and someone misheard it. And so this was just one like that. It was our friend, I'll name him, apparently doesn't care, our friend Depp, who works in a record store, and he was trying to remember how to say Ryuichi Sakamoto. Mm-hmm. And he thought he was called Ritchie Sacramento. So yeah, it's nothing to do with the song. It's just random nonsense.
I love it. I have to ask you too about the first song too, the title and the vocals right at the beginning of the album. What did that come from?
See, it sounds like we're just shaming all our friends here, but a friend Ben Power who makes music as Blank Mass. Mm-hmm. He talks a lot in his sleep, and his wife's really amused by this, and they've started recording it, and the recording at the start of the record is Ben while he's sleeping, saying, "To the bin, my friend, tonight we vacate Earth," and which is amazing and psychedelic and weird. But the other weird thing about it is the voice, because he doesn't speak like that. He's got this kind of weird, posh Shakespearean voice, and he's just got like a normal person voice. So yeah, it's pretty wild. He's his sleeping. He's got some great. I don't know if you're going to get him in session, but you need to ask him about some of this stuff, because there's something weird going on in his mind that comes out when he's asleep.
If we do, I will definitely ask him about that.
Yeah, do it. He's an entertaining dude. His new record's out this week, actually.
Oh, cool.
Inferno, great record. So yeah.
Are you releasing that on Rock Action?
No, he left Rock Action to sign to Sacred Bones. So I shouldn't be promoting him at all, to be totally honest. But nah, we're still tight. We're still tight.
I am blown away that is just a made up accent that he had in his sleep. I want to know so bad what that dream was about.
Me too.
That is fascinating. Well, switching gears. The new record, As the Love Continues, it was released on the 25th anniversary of your first single, Tuner Lower. Did you do that on purpose? Or was that
and I'm not sure that that's strictly true.
Oh.
I think it's roughly. Ballpark, yeah. It's cool though. It is cool. Someone obviously noticed and was like, people need to know this. So yeah, no, I think it's really cool. It seems like a milestone, and
yeah,
it's a long time, a quarter of a century. It's more than half our lives, spent making this music. So it's pretty epic.
Yeah, it's very epic. It's very impressive that, when bands stay together that long and you seem like you get along really well and vibe really well, and your music, every album is fantastic, but it feels like it just keeps getting better and better. So thinking back over the last 25 years, what have been a couple of your favorite moments? Like touring or people you've met, just something?
This sounds kind of corny, but I think the last week has been probably my favorite week ever with the band. It's been crazy. Like the reaction to this record's been nuts, and like just the support, we got from everyone, getting, so many of our favorite bands coming out and kind of supporting us. It's been amazing. So like, I'd say this week's up there, but going back, I don't know. We always talk about the first time we ever played a show that wasn't in a bar. We were opening for Pavement in 1997, and we were absolutely terrified. And it was one of those shows where we just started, and it just kind of in this big room, and it just kind of clicked. Something kind of weird kind of clicked that night. I always remember that really fondly. And that's one of the best ones. But also, a lot of them are shows, like places we've played and bands we've played with, and we're really lucky. When I think about all the things we've done, it's pretty amazing. It's kind of beyond anything any of us would have dared to kind of think was possible. So it's been pretty wild.
That's amazing. What are a couple of your favorite bands that you've ever played with?
We're lucky. We did a big tour with The Cure, who are they're probably my favorite band. Lots of the like All Tomorrow's Parties shows we did and festivals. Remember one time we played in New York somewhere, not New York City, but New York State somewhere, and like we were playing with My Bloody Valentine and Dinosaur Jr. It's crazy, like, to even think that we'd be playing with those kind of bands. So
the three of you, that's probably the loudest show ever.
It was insane. because obviously, like, the Valentines are always insanely loud.
Yeah.
And like our actually person doing our sound, who sadly she died a few years ago, but she was quite a competitive person, so I think she was like, well, we're not going to be quiet if they're going to be loud, so like and then like G Maskus has got like 40 marshals on stage. I'm surprised there weren't lawsuits after that night, but it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I know you're a huge fan of just being an audience member and going out to see shows. Like, what are a couple of your top shows that you went to in your life?
I saw the Cramps. I've seen the Cramps a bunch of times, but like one Cramps show in particular where the drummer was playing with Bones at this festival in Spain in 1998 or something. I remember that being amazing. Almost every time I've seen Low, Low are one of my favorite bands. They're just ridiculously good. Always love that. Remember the first time I saw Jane's Addiction being like a pretty next level gig. It was brilliant. I'm lucky. I've seen it. I remember actually talking to Iggy when the Stooges did the Don't Look Back shows. I saw both of them when they played Funhouse and when they played Raw Power.
Ugh,
I think that Raw Power show is definitely one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I saw the last show of the last PG Harvey tour. We were playing the same festival, and I'd seen her a few times on that tour, but that gig in particular, like they'd been on tour for 2 years or something, a long time, and the band were so tight, and like it was clearly like quite an emotional thing for them, because on a big tour like that, you kind of become like a family, and it was amazing. That was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Was that the like 2017, 2018 tour, that one?
Yeah.
I saw PJ Harvey at the Off Festival in Poland on that tour.
Oh, that's a great festival, isn't it? I love that festival.
So cool.
Is there a connection with that festival in Seattle? Because I remember one of the last times we played it, like everyone from Sub Pop was there.
Yeah, because the Sub Pop co-owner Jonathan Poneman married a Polish woman,
right?
And I believe she's related to Artur Rojek, who is the festival director of Off Festival.
Yeah.
So there's a huge tight-knit connection between Sub Pop and Off Festival, and that's how KEXP was able to go out to the Off Festival because of that connection.
That's awesome. Is that I hope that happens this year. That'd be great.
I cannot wait until things reopen.
I think like some festivals over here, like we're going to go ahead, and then I've seen a few others like Glastonbury's and Primavera's just postponed to next year. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I hope we get some music this year. That would be great if it could happen.
Absolutely. Apparently, we're all going to have vaccines here in the U.S. at least by May, so hopefully it can happen sooner than later.
May's pretty soon. That's brilliant news. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm DJ Morgan talking to Stuart Braithwaite of Mogwai. The last song you recorded for us is an older one from 2011's Hardcore Will Never Die, But You Will, which just hit its 10th year anniversary back on February 14th. So I would love to hear, what are your memories of that record, like recording or touring? Do you have any good memories from that one in particular?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was the first record that we put out actually since our first 25 years ago. That was the first one we put out properly on Rock Action. So I remember it being kind of a weird energy because we were kind of terrified if no one likes this. We've got no safety net. We're not on a record label. We're just a bunch of dudes in a band. So it was fun. And that record people liked it a lot. And that was the first one we actually put out on Sub Pop, didn't we? And yeah, it was good. And Antony, the guy who filmed our show that came out the other week, he did the cover for that. So that was the first, and he also did the video for this song, How to Be a Werewolf, the original video. And so yeah, that felt like, even though we'd been going for a long time, we were still kind of making new kind of partnerships and kind of, yeah, it was definitely an exciting record.
Felt like a little level up time.
I think so. Yeah, we got on TV. I remember we got on TV on one of those, was it Jimmy Fallon, one of those late night people? So yeah. That's the only time that's ever happened. So yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll happen on this record. It's like, come on, Jimmy cool. Fallon is the number one record.
Yeah, come on, Jimmy, get us back.
Come on, Jimmy. God damn it.
Got to meet Queen Latifah. It was amazing.
Was she the guest on the show?
Yeah, and I think we actually waved at her from 100 yards away or whatever, but it was still cool.
You didn't actually talk to her?
Nah.
I'm sure she's intimidating. She's awesome. I'd be scared too.
It was fun just being there. It was all good.
I bet it's a very surreal experience.
It was weird because I know we've been talking about TV.
Yeah.
Occasionally, but yeah, it's filmed in the same place as 30 Rock, obviously.
That's
so
right.
Kind of you're like, why is no one making jokes?
Where's Kenneth? Where are all the pages?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun though. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. How do you think your style has progressed in the last 10 years? I know, Mogwai has done a lot of scoring for movies in particular. So I'm curious how your scoring brain and then your album brain kind of come together, having that experience for the last decade.
It's weird. They're two pretty different processes. I think when you're scoring, you're really doing a job for someone else. Obviously you're still doing it as Mogwai, so we wanted it to be good music, but you could really give them 10 pieces of music and they could just be like, nah, that's not what we want, So making our own record, what we did last summer, it feels even more liberating because you really are wow, we can do anything we want. We can And that's not to say scoring's not great. I do really, really love it too. But yeah, it's been fun, and it kind of breaks it up as well. So you're not all you kind of breaking up. You're not just finishing a tour then going to make another record to go on tour. It's kind of something else will come up, and you get to work with some interesting people too. Some of the people we've met, directors and music supervisors and stuff, they've been really, really cool, you know? So yeah, it's been a great thing to get into.
Cool. That sounds like a really neat experience. So let's get to that live video that you recorded of How to Be a Werewolf from Hardcore Will Never Die, But You Will, recorded right here for Live on KEXP at Home. It is Mogwai, live on KEXP at Home. It's Mogwai live on KEXP at home. That was How to Be a Werewolf from the album Hardcore Will Never Die, But You Will, that just celebrated its 10th anniversary, released on February 14th of 2011. I'm DJ Morgan speaking to Stuart Braithwaite of Mogwai. So besides working on this new record, how else have you been keeping busy? We talked a little bit about rock action. Do you have any releases coming out on that are not Mogwai records?
Yeah, we do actually. That's a good kind of set me up for a plug.
There you go.
We've got the comeback record for Arab Strap, which is coming out in a couple of days, which is amazing. I'm really excited for people to hear that. So we've got that coming out. We've got a couple of our other bands working on music, which hopefully shouldn't be too long. Twilight Sad and Catherine Joseph. And yeah, that's been nice to kind of keep busy doing that, definitely.
What else do you do? I know you mentioned you have skateboards in that room. Are you a big skateboarder?
Yeah. If it's dry, which isn't that often in Scotland, but I go skating. And I don't know what else. I've got two very, very, very needy dogs. So I'm doing a lot of dog walking as well.
Nice. What kind of dogs are they?
They're rescue dogs. I think they're kind of, one's a little Staffordshire Bull Terrier and the other one's a sort of mystery dog. Maybe something like a Corgi and a Staffy as well. Yeah, they're fun. They're a lot of fun. I love
mystery dog.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, now that the album is out, do you have any next plans for Mogwai? Are you gonna get back in the studio? Are you gonna kick back for a while?
I think we're really hoping we can play gigs.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of hoping this vaccine thing kind of gets finalized and we can start playing in the summer. We've got another couple of songs that we didn't quite get finished for the record, so we might try and get them for some kind of single at some point. Yeah. Just
nice.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we will see you booking live shows sooner than later. Hopefully we'll see you come through the U.S., come through Seattle, and hopefully we'll see you in person very, very soon.
We'd love that.
Yes. Me too. Stuart, thank you so much for taking this time with us today. Really, really appreciate all of your time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And please thank the guys for us as well for those amazing performance videos. We really appreciate it.
Will do.
Yeah. And thank you to all of you for supporting KEXP and tuning in. We have more live streams coming up, so be sure to check out our virtual events calendar. You can find that at kexp.org. And through all of this, we are keeping the music discovery coming. So subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of these live on KEXP at home sessions. Go to kexp.org to listen to the live radio stream and much, much more at kexp.org. And we will see you next time on Live at KEXP at Home. Discover new music at listener-powered kexp.org. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you about Tiger King. I actually went to the Carol Baskin Wildcat Refuge. Yeah. Back in 2011, I went on a family vacation with my dad and stepmom and little sister, and they were like, we want to go to Disney World. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I was a poor young adult, so I was like, I'll go wherever you're paying.
They're going to feed you. They're going to feed you for a week.
Yeah, exactly. So on the last day, my stepmom was like, oh, I saw on the internet there's a wildcat refuge. It seems kind of weird because it's all of these big cats in cages, but would you guys want to go? And we're like, sure, whatever. There's nothing else to do.
I bet it was amazing.
Yeah. Flash forward to 2020. I was like, oh my God, I've been there. I texted my stepmom. I was like, oh my God, we've been there. She was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed.
That's amazing.
That's my Tiger King story.